Hello and thanks for joining us on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendu Osisiago, and today we shall be getting the views of bank customers here in the FCT on the challenges they encounter on a daily basis post-lockdown. Following the directive of President Muhammad Buhari on the ease of the lockdown from 4th of May 2020, a whole lot of businesses are back to carry on with their daily routine. But today we shall be focusing on banks because most of the banks here in Abuja are always crowded. A whole lot of people are going through difficulties making their transactions and many other services. Our correspondent is here to discuss on what the banks can do to reduce this large crowd and make things easy enough for their customers. But before we continue with that, let's look at the business updates for today. So stay with us. Despite keeping its borders open for goods shipments during the coronavirus pandemic, Canadian trade fell in March, while its trade deficit widened to $1.4 billion, according to data released on Tuesday. The figure, up from a $894 million deficit in February, beat analysts' forecast. Year-over-year trade fell 10%, while with a full month of physical distancing policies in place in April, trade values are expected to decrease more severely in that month, warned Statistics Canada. Total export fell 4.7% to $46.3 billion in March, while import declined 3.5% to $47.7 billion, the government agency said. However, automakers and several auto engine and power suppliers in North America notably began to ease production or shift their production to medical masks and ventilators with the introduction of physical distancing measures. The federal government will offer marginal oil fields for auction this year despite the crash in crude oil prices, the group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Ahmed Kyari, has said. The country has not conducted any licensing round since 2007, while a marginal field round was last held in 2003. Kyari said the government would not be able to conduct any major licensing round as the current market realities would dampen foreign investors' appetite. He spoke on Tuesday during a virtual dialogue session on government's fiscal policy decisions in response to the current challenges organized by the Ministry of Finance and the UK Department for International Development Partnership to engage, reform and learn. As part of efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, the President Muhammad Buhari has ordered immediate evacuation of all imported medical equipment from Nigerian ports. This is even as the President has given the blanket waiver of custom duty on medical supplies. The Special Assistant to the President on Digital and New Media, Tolu Ogunlese, disclosed this on Tuesday via his official Twitter handle. He said President Muhammad Buhari had also directed the Nigerian Customs Service to implement expected clearing of all imported healthcare equipment into the planned deployment of the 5th generation network in Nigeria. The Red Chamber took the decision after it adopted a motion moved by Senator Uche Ekunife, who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Science and Technology, had drawn attention of our colleague to the status of the 5G network in the country. She said our motion was born out of the need to assure Nigerians of their safety with the proposed launch of the network. Ekunife, in her lead debate, noted that there were growing concerns on the ongoing discussions about the current status of the 5G network in Nigeria, adding that Nigerians were not sure whether Nigeria was presently connected to the 5G network. She said there were further concerns by some scientists and medical experts that the emission from the 5G towers could adversely affect health of citizens. And that's the business update on Television Nigerian. I am Chiwendu Osisiago. Now we shall be going on the streets of Abuja to get the views of Nigerians on the challenges they encounter in the banks on a daily basis post-lockdown. So stay with us. Following the directive of President Muhammad Buhari on the ease of the COVID-19 lockdown, you're looking around the banks, you can see that most banks have resumed their daily activities, and you can see a lot of customers in front of the bank waiting to do one transaction or the other. I'm here to get the views of those bank customers on how they have been attended to and the challenges they have been occurring right from when they started. Stay with us. see that a lot of people are in front of the bank trying to do one transaction or the other. What are the challenges you're actually going through right now?
You see, we are trying to see how our transaction can continue. Personally, in my own experience, my ATM card expired just before this corona issue. I got to the bank twice. I was told that they have no card. So during this period of quarantine, or so what do we call it? There was no way I can bank. I tried to enter internet, they required the card, the card number and everything. So that means all my money was locked up in the bank. So when they said, okay, they will open today, we came in here, I think since 10 o'clock, and this is getting to 2. We are not being attended to. And you ask them, they are treating us like if we are outcast in our own money, in our own right, First Bank here. They are not attending to us. They said they shared some numbers since 9 o'clock. But what we got in the news before we came here, that the bank will open from 10 to 3 or 2. We try to make sure we are here. Normally when you are in a bank before the banking hour, you should be attended to. Even if after the hour they attend to you inside, since they asked us to stay outside, they are supposed to have given us numbers outside to see that we are here before 2. But they are saying that by 2 they will tell everybody to go, even if you have spent the whole day. So they are not doing it right. Notwithstanding the fact that they are with our money, they don't want to do anything. I don't know whether First Bank is tired of customer or anything of such nature.
Yes, here because during this lockdown, I have a problem with my account. Transfer money, and then somebody is complaining to see the alert of the money. The money did not inflect to his account. So I decided to come to the bank so that I print a statement account to that person. But so unfortunately, I was here around 10 o'clock. Up to now, you see they are sharing numbers before somebody will get into the bank. So I try to have patience and wait. I even canceled my work today. The problem now, we are facing sun and no food. If you don't have, we come to claim money here. And the money is now not in our pocket. So no way to even eat, nothing. So we just stay here suffering, and bank cannot attend us on time.
So how have you been coping even before the banks opened?
We are coping just by the will of God. We hang around somebody that pass you. Is there anything that person eat? You throw your complaint, your request to that person. That person should help you if something remains to his house.
Okay, so what do you advise the banks to do?
What I observe, banks should allow their branches to open so that to avoid this. Yeah.
It's good like that because of the government, they take care of us, and the issue is that those coronavirus is everywhere. Nobody knows this man has his coronavirus. This one is better like that to government take care of us. It's good like that.
Okay. Even they talk about people waiting under the sun now. How did they go? Are you a customer to the bank?
I'm a customer.
So how did they take money under the sun?
What
time did you come?
Since morning. I came here by 7 o'clock. They don't attend me.
Okay, so you like what they do?
I like what they do because you say they allow people, everybody do his own things. There is problem. But the way they are handling people is good like that.
I did not face challenge today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what exactly did you come to do?
I came to do transfer.
Okay.
Yeah.
At what time did you come?
I came before 2 and I was attended to.
Yeah. Right. So you like the procedure you are taking, you're wearing your face masks and maintaining social distancing?
Yes, I like the procedure that you are taking. And we are praying for you. That the Lord will continue to see us through.
Enter, and the bank officials are not accepting them entering.
So what exactly did you come to do in the bank, and have you been attended to?
Yes, actually they have attended to me.
So what exactly were you doing? Did you come to make some transactions or?
Yes.
What else do you want to probably advise the banks to do, probably to work on?
No, like bank, I don't have anything to advise them. I just want to advise the PTF in general that the way they are addressing the COVID pandemic in the city center, they are not attending to people in the village. I know of a village in Enugu State that have the capacity of about 3,000 people. They don't have even one borehole there. The federal government, the presidential task force team, they are not attending to them. They are only concentrating on city center. How do they get to the root of the problem?
I discovered that the people refused to open the bank. So instead they were attending to people outside. And the thing now delayed, maybe because of the pandemic or because of the COVID-19 something. So at least it's unusual. It's not like before that we come and go on time.
Okay, so what exactly did you come to do in the bank?
Actually, I've come to maybe renew my ATM and also see whether I can withdraw money. So, but it's delaying. So since they cannot finish today, so they are asked to come tomorrow.
Maybe they can improve their system. Maybe like if they are facing network problem, they have to get it like guarantee so that they can work fast, so that they can settle everybody.
They have to employ more people so that there will be more space for people to enter and deposit their money.
No, I came to use the ATM, not really the inside, and I'm through with the ATM.
Okay, but you've been seeing people, hovering around the banks, trying to make one transaction or the other. What exactly can you say to people like this, especially now that there's coronavirus everywhere?
What I saw on telly yesterday on Facebook in Abuja and Lagos is not encouraging at all. The lockdown, leaving people to go out again, was like leaving dogs out of the cage. Everybody was on the road at the same time as yesterday. Today I think it's a bit better. Yeah, it's a bit better today, but still, it's not encouraging. It's not. People shouldn't pour out as if the world is going to end today. Gradually, people will get what they want. It doesn't mean that everybody must be at the bank at the same time. One after another. Because 1, 2, 3 persons contracted in a family, everybody is gone. And the way people are rushing, going into the banks, buses, no, it's not the best.
What do you advise people to do now?
Hey, like I said, they should take it easy. Take it easy, obey the rules. Whatever they say we should do, wash it. Like, I have my hand sanitizer here already, the face mask is there. It should be a culture. For now, let us imbibe with all these things until it goes down.
I'm on front transaction.
Okay.
And because of the queue here, I couldn't see yesterday and today.
Like, what time did you come here?
I came here in the morning. Yesterday, in the morning around 9, I was there. 9 today, I was there again.
All right. So what advice will you have for the banks so that they can improve on their work?
The bank should be they should improve on their customer service.
It's debit issue. I came to, I used my POS in my office and they debited me twice. And I've been complaining about this money since that same month or since March. 2 days after they debit me, I came and complained. Up to now, they have not resolved it. So I don't really know what is going on with the bank anyway. Maybe they are folding up. We don't understand. Because even people that have millions in their account, they came here with the same complaint. Yesterday, they even want to beat up the manager in this bank yesterday. Honestly, it's not easy.
Oh, okay. So what has been the challenges you've been facing?
It has really been stressful because I expected that all branches of this bank be open. But it's quite unfortunate that some of the branches are not even working at all. Because I've been here since morning by 7. And this is the time I'm leaving. I wasn't able to do what I came to do. It is really stressful. I actually play with NCDC to place maybe something like a law that will enable these banks, all branches to open in full.
I really have a lot, my sister. The COVID-19 instruction is not followed.
Okay.
Over 1 million people plus. There was no social distance, nothing of such. And now to harness the whole issue is that they could not follow the directive given by NDC, who would have been the first point of contact. They did not follow it. Now people like us, I'm a retiree, have not gotten a dime because they say the crowd is too much, that we should come back again on Thursday.
You've heard the views of bank customers. Most of them came to the bank to renew their ATM and other services, but could not meet up with time due to the fact that most banks are supposed to close by 2 p.m. And that's the much we have for you today on TVN. I am Chiwendu Osisiago. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with us. In case you're just joining us, it's still TVN Business, and you have heard the views of bank customers on the challenges they encounter. And of course, our correspondent is here to analyze and discuss more. She is Immaculate Udo. You're welcome again.
Thank you, Shimandu.
Okay, now you've watched the video, and what is your own opinion on the current situation they're actually facing now?
Okay, I actually think like the concept of customer experience lies basically in customer satisfaction and making them happy, and in turn you earn their loyalty, respect and trust as well. But however, we know that with the event of the COVID-19 is no longer business as usual. So several sectors, not just the banking sectors, has been disrupted in their modus operandi. And I think the banks actually had it coming, like they envisaged it, and I like that they have taken extra precautions to protect not just their workers but also their customers. You know, people are actually complaining of limited number of people entering the banking hall, but they should also know that, like we say, or like the NCDC keep advising, social distancing or avoid crowded places, and these things that the banks are putting in place or have tried or trying to put in place. They had it coming, like if you have been in the streets of, yes, you were on the streets of Abuja and you saw the crowd outside. So I basically think it's because they're not allowing everybody in at once. That's why we have that much crowd out there. And in the hall, I like that they're maintaining social distancing, regardless of the fact that people feel like, okay, it's our money, why are they doing shakara for us with our money? It's actually for our own good. They might not see the good now, but in the long term, we would see why this is happening. Like, basically, I think that's my take, and it's a good one from the banking sector. I think they had it coming, because coming to work this morning, I saw security operative. They had to go that far to ensure law and order, even while they had that much crowd outside.
And the crowd is actually massive. When I was coming from AYE this morning, I saw a lot of people in front of like 5 banks, and they were like crowded. I was like, what are you doing? Are they holding a service or something?
Yes, and there's been Twitter videos. People have been putting stuff up on social media, and our concern is the fact that okay, we're saying maintain social distancing, stay away from crowded places. So churches are still on lockdown, schools as well as mosques, but the banks are open, and then this is what we have to deal with. Whatever this, okay, I guess basically that.
So, but on your own perspective, what do you think people are actually going to do in the bank, knowing the fact that there was no businesses during the COVID-19 lockdown?
And they survived
I was wondering, probably they were doing a business sideline when they were, on the lockdown, and they're going there to get their money or something, and people are going there to deposit money. Like the interview I conducted yesterday, a lot of people said that they were going to deposit, some people said they were going to withdraw. So I was wondering, and people are complaining no money. So what do you think they were going to do?
Basically, I think there's been the problem on social media. If you've been following people complaints about banking services, there have been because the banks have said, do not come to the bank since banks are not working, use the e-service channels, digital banking and the likes. But there have been complaints of failed transactions. So like the other guy said in the video, when he said he has actually come to complain that they on reversal of fund, they don't reverse fund, they debit you twice. There were such complaints. People say their ATM cards have expired. But I just feel like, yes, we had it coming. We expect people to go to the bank, but you should actually use the e-service channels and only resort to going to the bank when it is totally necessary for your good, like for your own good. So people do just say, I want to go to the bank to withdraw 1,000 or 2,000. Even so, like you could use, we have places where you can actually do transfer. Okay, you need to pay for something. If you do not have an ATM, you could transfer using the USSD. There are many channels. I think going to the banking halls right now should be like the very last resort.
No, I think why people don't want to actually go through that process is because of probably the little charges they actually, deduct from their account. Probably that's why they want to go directly to the bank.
Okay, I actually want people to actually look at the fact that your life is worth more than the 65 naira charge on ATM at ATM machines, or the 25 naira charge when you do transfer. Your life is worth a lot more. Imagine that you have to stay isolated from friends and family. Maybe that's like the little sacrifice you have to make. Yeah, people also go into the banks, talk about banks giving loan for SMEs and the likes. People are saying they are going to the banking halls to apply for loans as well. People are saying for failed transaction. People are saying they are not reversing their funds even. So there are a lot of concerns, but I am saying we expect that people will go to the bank regardless, but we're saying it should be the last resort when you've explored every other option, basically.
Okay, now let's move to the banks. What do you think the banks can actually do to reduce this crowd? Because the fact that coronavirus is still everywhere, coronavirus is not yet over, but for them to reduce the crowd, what do you think the banks can actually do at this period?
Okay, I think, take GTB for instance, they actually made an announcement that certain branches are going to be open, not all branches. So I think that's part of the problem. Yeah, so lots of people are crowding in on one branch because it's just one branch that's open. And so maybe they should open up more branches and then work on their digital service channels. Like I said, people are saying e-transactions are failing. They get debited, they don't see alerts and the likes of that. So you cannot tell me to use a system I do not trust. So if I already have a problem with the e-service channels, you're telling me that, okay, I can make transfers, but I make transfer, I get debited, it doesn't drop on the other person's account, and I do not trust the system. I'm sure not to use it. So they should work on making it more effective and trustworthy, and also maybe open up more branches, because the more branches we have, the lesser the crowd at this open branches that are open.
Okay. Now not just to the banks alone, the federal government is actually included. So what do you have to say to the federal government, to curtail such?
I think the federal government has done a lot. They put us in lockdown for, they actually declared a lockdown for 2 weeks and then extended another 2 weeks, and they've not totally lifted it. They're actually just easing it. They've done a lot, and our country cannot go for that long without economic activity. So we expect them to open up the economy gradually. So I think the federal government, to a large extent, bringing out the moratorium, and they've actually done a lot. So right now, the onus is on us as a people. Like, they've asked us, go out there, but they think like they've done enough education. It's like you send a child to school and then you train the child and then you send the child out there and you expect the child to like practice what he has been taught in the classroom here. So they actually have taught us, they've educated us via social media, via newspaper publications a lot. They've done a lot for us, so they're expecting us as people now. The onus is on us, like I said, to maintain social distance, and I think there's actually a large adherence to wearing of the face masks. Yes, people are complying. People are complying, and then hand sanitizers. It's becoming like a fashion trend right now. Yeah, so you're not doing it. It feels like you're outdated. So everybody, even the market seller, people are even inventing and making their own kind of face mask. So I like that there's this compliance in wearing a face mask and the use of hand sanitizers and washing hands. But what I've really seen that has been breached this few days is actually social distancing. We've been asked to maintain social distancing, stay away from crowded places, and that is not what we're seeing at the front of banking halls. So that's my concern. We're actually talking about running out of beds at isolation centers and then test kits. So people should actually think about that more when they actually break this law. So the onus is on us. The government has done their part. The banks are trying for our own good. So I think we as a people should understand it's not going to be an easy process. For instance, the bank, they have a lot to do to gain our trust and make us, because customer experience, at the end of the day, is customer experience I have in one bank that will make me want to port from one to the other. So they should understand that it's a gradual process and be patient enough to take their customers through this process. And we as a people should be patient with them as well, for our good, for our own good, basically.
Okay, finally, do you think with these crowded people in the banks, do you think there will be any negative effects on them?
Of course, we have said if you do not wear your facial mask and then someone does infected, because everybody is like a prospective candidate of the COVID-19, we don't know the carriers, there's not like a mark on their forehead. So anybody and everybody could be a carrier of the COVID-19. So if you're breaching social distancing, for one, you have to stay far away. There's an extent you stay far from somebody, and even if it coughs, you do not contact it because you're far from that person. So the first and fundamental thing we should be thinking about is actually maintaining social distancing. And if we have breached that, then we stand a chance of contracting the virus. And my fear is that if so much people, it's not just the banking halls, at bus stations, at bus stops, you see the crowd, and I am scared for how overwhelming. Remember that the US, that has like one of the world's best medical facilities was overwhelmed, and they had to make their motor manufacturing companies begin to manufacture ventilators. Imagine if we had such a situation in Nigeria. Our system is going to be overwhelmed. We're not built to handle this much stress. So we as a people have a lot to do, so we do not get to that point basically.
All right, thank you. So finally, what are you going to advise people that don't even have anything to do with the banks, but just want to go to the bank just to fulfill righteousness, and those that are actually in the bank and probably wanting to do one transaction or the other?
Like I have said, going to the bank should be a final resort after you've explored every other option for your good and for the good of every other person. Not just the banks, the marketplaces, the churches. People are actually using this opportunity. People that don't even have businesses going out. Everybody's on the road, their cars, the kind of traffic jam I actually witnessed coming to work this morning. I was like, this much people are going to work when it's a gradual easing of the lockdown. This is not the whole of Abuja. The whole of Abuja is not supposed to be out here, just designated people. But the roads are crowded. We're seeing crowds in bus stops again. I think right now it is like it's a personal fight. It's not just for the government. It's not just for the banking sector. It's not just for workplaces. I like that major workplaces have said without your face masks, you're not coming in, without sanitizers and that. But you as a person, they do not have to force you to do this thing. If you love yourself, of course we all love life, you would do these things. And I just believe that right now we should be thinking about it. Maybe it's a new normal, and maybe we should just imbibe this as like a lifestyle. I mean, what is wrong with personal hygiene anyway?
There were a lot of people are predicting that this coronavirus might probably increase in 2 weeks' time because of everybody's coming out, everybody wants to go out, everybody wants to do one thing or the other. Do you see it coming like that?
If at the pace we're going right now, if we continue to see this much crowd, then I fear for the implication, for the health implications that the government might have to deal with in the long run. So I wouldn't want to be negative. I'm just hoping that Nigerians will learn their lesson. It was just Easter Monday, and this is Wednesday. Yes, and everybody's going out, but everybody's still concerned. So I just hope we'll learn a lesson, but I hope we don't learn it in a bad way, where we're recording 1,000 cases per day, and everybody's like, oh, it's like a death sentence, so we're going to stay at home. I just hope it doesn't get to that point anyway.
All right, thank you so much, Immaculate Idil, for coming on TV and Business today, and it's good to have you again.
It's always my pleasure.
Yeah. All right, that's what we have for you today on TV and Business, and don't forget that you can advertise with us. You can call us on 07032349054 for your advert. And that's the much you have. I am Chiwendi Osisiago. Do have a wonderful day.